Hi everybody, this week on Marketer Monday, we're going to talk about how you can prevent angry clients, because there is nothing worse than having a client who hates your guts. And even if you aren't in the agency setting, if you're not a freelance, maybe you're in-house, you work for a boss, many of these, if not all of these pieces of advice still apply to you. So let's hop right into it on some of the things that we can do to prevent those rough patches we will come across with clients. First thing is define success. And this is on a long-term scale as well as short-term items like campaigns that are going live. With the long-term side, if your client, whether they are a 3-month client or a 3-month contract or a 12-month contract starting out, make sure you define what is going to be accomplished by the end of that contract and what success is. If we hit this percentage increase in organic traffic, this is success. If we get X number of social signals, this is success. Make sure both you and the client define that and agree on what success looks like. Same exact principle applies with campaigns, because there's nothing worse than when you have a campaign that did well and you're excited to show your client, and you sit down, you show them all the awesome results, and they're disappointed. It wasn't because you did a bad job, it was because they expected something completely different. So make sure you are establishing the metrics that you're hoping to see, and so that you're on the same page when it comes time for reporting. So define success, that's one of the big things. Then there is under promise, over deliver. Often as marketers, especially when you're starting out, you're excited, you see opportunity, you tend to over promise and under deliver. So if I'm on a call on Monday afternoon with a client and they say, well, let's start doing this, I say I can have those graphics ready by Thursday, and then I deliver them to them on Friday, that doesn't look good. You're 1 day late. I know it's small, but your client was expecting those to be there on Thursday because you told them. You are now a liar in their eyes. And those things really, really stick out to clients. So if you can see that, okay, I'm going to have this done on Thursday, just tell them Friday. That way their expectations aren't super high, like, wow, I'm going to get this tomorrow or in just 2 days. And you often get it done before. And so you're kind of over delivering. So getting that mentality to where you're not setting yourself up for failure by missing deadlines, which is our next point. And this is one of the most important things. Never, ever, 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 ever miss a deadline, because this will put you on a fast track to getting the boots, to getting your contract ended, they'll drop you, whatever it is. Clients do not like when deadlines are missed, and not just on big things like, oh, I hit all my big, when I tell them a campaign is going to go live, it does. I'm talking little things. Hey, could you send me an email this Thursday with an update on what's going on? Yeah, you bet. And then you don't send it, or you send it a day late, 2 days late. It just looks super bad. They want to know that you are on top of it, because deadlines, I've noticed, when you miss even the smallest ones, the client just never forgets them, and they start to add up the more you miss. So if you have to stay up all night to hit a deadline, even if it's just a simple progress report, make sure you send that out. That is extremely important. We'll give it one more underline there. And then visit monthly. If your client lives within your area, make sure you're getting that face-to-face meeting, because having a face-to-face meeting with the client, having that relationship with the client makes a huge difference, especially when you have those rough patches that pop up. It's a lot easier to get through those when they've met you, they trust you, they like you, they believe in you, and it's hard to get that relationship just through emails or just over phone calls. So make sure you're visiting them monthly, and monthly if they're in your area. If you can afford to fly out every month and do that, that's awesome, depending on what they're paying you and everything. But I would say minimum, at least get out there 3 to 6 months. That's if they are not within your area, not a drive up the road. 3 to 6 months, make sure you're flying out there, and you can kind of be the judge on how much you can afford to do that, but definitely no more than 6 months. It sounds expensive to get a plane ticket and fly out there, but you're going to make a lot more money in the long run, because it's just easier for them to stick with you because they feel like you're part of their team when you are regularly out there at their office. So make sure you're visiting often. And then we have some other tips. These are a little bit more specific on things that we can do within our relationship, but email at least weekly. And these can be, primarily highlights that are going on. Hey, I noticed this keyword jumped up 26 spots. That's awesome. Check this out. We just got published on Forbes with this great article about the new product that's coming out. Whatever it is, make them always aware that you're working on them, on their work, and that you're getting stuff done. And the same goes with bad news. Make sure you're the one that breaks the bad news to them before they bring it up to you. If you get hit by a penalty, don't try to hide it, because they're going to find out. And it looks so much worse when they have to email you and say, hey guys, why are rankings down? Why is my traffic gone? It looks good when you can email them and say, hey, I don't know if we screwed up or what's going on. We're looking into this. We're on top of it. Let's hop on a call tomorrow or later this afternoon and discuss what we can do to fix all of this. That looks way better. And then end all meetings with goals. So whether it's an in-person meeting or a phone call, don't just say, yep, we're going to get that done, because they might think, you mean by this weekend? And you're thinking in your head, no, I meant by next month. So make sure that there's always goals, whether they're the big campaigns or the small goals that lead up to executing that campaign. And each goal should have a name and a due date associated with it. And that's both on your team side as well as your client side. Don't be afraid to assign your clients some tasks. Obviously not the tasks that they hired you to do, but if the client's talking about some data that they have in the company, well, great. Make sure that their data team sends that over and, remind them about that. Or you sent them a site audit and they need to get some things done. Make sure you have a due date done. When can you get those done, Mrs. Client? Oh, I can get those done by next week. Excellent. I'll follow up next week to make sure that's all done. It sounds like you're being their boss, but in a way, that's why they're hiring you, which goes to our next point. Be their fitness trainer. I'm not talking about helping them lose weight or to get some awesome muscles like me, but I'm just kidding. I have no muscles, unfortunately. But be their fitness trainer in a sense that the reason we hire fitness trainers, not we as in Market Campus, but society, is because we know how to exercise. We know what's right and what's wrong, but we just need someone to kick us in the butt. And that's why often you're hired as an agency or as a freelancer, not because they don't know what they're doing, although that is often the case. It's because they know what they're doing. That's why they have the position they're in, but they need help. They need someone to stay on top of things because they don't have the time. So follow up on every task that you give them. When you send them the site audit and there's 8 changes that need to be made, make sure, again, there's a name, which is usually them or their developers, and a date on when that's going to be done. And if those aren't done by then, that's when you need to contact them and let them know. So many times I've seen angry clients who are this close to dropping, and when they're talking to the agency, they'll say, well, it's because nothing got done. And sometimes I would say, well, those were things that you were supposed to get done, and they never got done. Well, why didn't you remind me? And that's when I kind of realized, like, okay, I have to kind of be their trainer a little bit. So I learned a lot of valuable lessons with some of my early clients, because I'd be doing my job, I would be performing very well, but things weren't getting done on their side, which they would just automatically view as Brandon wasn't getting that done. So always follow up. Don't be afraid to be annoying, because nobody's ever going to fire you for caring too much. It's almost always the opposite. They feel that you're not doing a good job, or you're just not giving them enough attention. They definitely can't use that excuse when you're constantly following up, making sure stuff's getting done. They're going to like seeing that. And then last but not least, assume they don't read. Often these are business owners you're dealing with directly who have a million things going on, or they are marketing contacts for a big company, and they have many other things going on. They have to go to board meetings with C-level executives, and they have to report on how you're doing as a freelancer or an agency. And often that awesome 20-page report you gave them at the end of the month, you'll be surprised about how many clients don't read those, or they just don't have time. So you can still send them all of the data, and all of the good, details, but send them a snapshot. Everything should always have a ton of data, whether it's a site audit or a monthly report, all of the dirty work and everything you've done, so they at least know that you've put in all of the work. You're actually working throughout the month, but then send them a snapshot with, a couple bullet points on some of the big things that happen that month. So when you're doing all of these things, your clients are going to be a lot happier with you instead of very angry with you. So if you have any other suggestions about what we can do as marketers to prevent angry clients, please leave them in the comment section below. Until next Monday, we will talk to you later. See ya.